Alright, so we've got a bad blower motor on a Rheem horizontal air handler. That's what we're going to be changing out today. So, let's get at it. Alright, so we've got a Rheem air handler here again. We're changing out the blower motor, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Alright, so this is our blower motor for this model Rheem. First thing we're going to do is make sure the disconnect is pulled. Let's go ahead and get these doors off. Alright, there we go. First thing you want to do for getting into this, even when you know the power's off, check your voltage. She got 0 volts. You also want to get a picture of your wiring so you know how it's going to plug back in. We're going to go ahead and clip these wires here, zip ties, for these UV lights that we have on here. And if you're working in a air handler or anything with these UV lights, make sure they are off. They will burn your eyes. I should know. I got laid up for a couple of days one time because I made that rookie mistake. So learn from me, guys, and don't do what I did. This is a ionizer, just so you guys know. It's got magnets on it. Alright, so we took a picture of the wires. We're going to go ahead and disconnect them. And you can see we have a green black wire here that goes up top, and just a regular green wire here that goes at the bottom. And our regular green wire is our ground, as you can see here. Let's go ahead and take this panel off, get it out of the way. Be careful with this board. Don't cause any damage to it. Let's make sure we can get past this UV light. You're going to want to have an extension to get to these screws back here. we got here, as you can see, that shaft's pretty rusted. That actually happens pretty commonly when a blower wheel gets cleaned as well. So in order to get this off, we're going to have to use like some WD-40 or some acrylics and sandpaper. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of that. Alright, so we got our little motor removal tool here, just in case we have trouble getting it off. We got some penetration oil, and I didn't have my sandpaper, but I've got a sanding block, and this will work in a pinch. Alright, so get your wrench. Go ahead and loosen up this set screw. I usually just take this screw all the way off, and I can squirt a little oil right in the hole as well. Let that sit for a second. I usually give it a good minute or so to soak down there and break down. Alright, we've been letting this sit for a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and sand this shaft. Alright, you get the shaft nice and clean. I wiped it off a little bit with a rag after I got through sanding it. Put a little bit more oil on it. Alright, let that sit for a second. Kind of work its way in. Some people will put a wrench on here and twist it to loosen it. That can work. However, sometimes in here there's a little divot that helps you line this up with this, and you can end up causing more damage, so we don't do that. A little excess right there. Alright. Turn the motor over. See if that fits. Nope. So you're going to need another size, usually a 3/8, which is the blue side. It's a little hard to see. 3/8. Yep, 3/8 fits. Another good rule of thumb is to mark where the wire port is. So you line it back up. slide right up. Don't try and force it. You could warp the wheel. We're going to go ahead and use our removal tool. Make sure that this part is screwed all the way back. Especially for long shafts. Make sure your set screws are pulled back far enough. Far enough. Alright, we do have the shaft lubricated. Get this till it's flush. Alright, we're flush. Now, what you want to do is line up this flat spot to this hole right here. Just a little offset. That way you don't put your set screw into the hole by accident. Let's start. Those will need a little juice. You're going to tighten these down evenly all the way around. Kind of like you do with a Christmas tree stand. Alright, once we get these pretty much hand tightened, we're going to crank down on this a little bit. So we got a good grip all the way around. It's just kind of a quarter turn really after they make contact. You don't want to do too much and then damage that base. Alright. Lubricate. Alright. And process. You're going to feel tension. It should be fairly even tension if you have it lubed up real good. Put a little bit more on the inner shaft. Alright, I'm going to keep twisting on this thing until I get it off. Once you get close, it'll start spinning a lot easier, as you can see. You can also use a socket with a drill attachment on here too, but I prefer to do it by hand so I can feel it. That way, if it does bind, I don't cause any damage. Alright, so once it starts tilting, we know we're good. Go ahead and lift up. We got that off. We're going to go ahead and remove our fan removal tool. Usually getting two loosened up will be enough. There we go. So you can see how rusted this thing is all the way down. Now we're going to go ahead and get the motor swapped out. Another thing is, make sure that you clean up this base here. Clean inside of it best you can. Shiny in there. Alright, this is our new motor. Let's grab it out. Do not make the mistake of pulling it out by the shaft. You can cause damage. Give it a little spin, lift up and down, make sure there's not a lot of play, side to side. This shaft is good. We're going to go ahead and line up our two motors. See here, they're it's the same height, and we want to mark the height of our belly band for our new motor. Always have a Sharpie. Again, using our 3/8 tool. Only loosen it up enough to get it off. Let's get it lined up. Lined up the top of the bracket with our black mark. Make sure it's like that all the way around on this flat surface, not this dimple right here. Make sure that this part is snug inside this part of the belly band. in. Bring our belly band up to our marks all the way around. And we can start tightening. Double check our lines. And we're good to go. Basically, the width here for this one, you want it to match about right there. Nice and snug, nothing moves. All right, let's get our old motor out of the way. We're gonna go ahead. These come pre-lubed, but we're gonna lube it up a little bit anyway. This time we're just gonna put it on the rag and wipe it up the shaft. We don't want it getting down in there. This comes with a sealed grease pack inside already. Okay. Let's go ahead and line up the flat part of our shaft with the set screw hole. Alright, we're not going to tighten this up yet. We've got to get our motor mounted. So let's turn it back over. Line our motor back up. Looks like we may have a little strip right here. Luckily there are some alternate holes we can use if we need to. So let me just pull the screw out, check it, and reline it up. Alright, we got it all set up. We did offset it just a little bit all the way around with new holes, but it's nice, secure, and snug. We're gonna now balance out the wheel. Let's go and press that screw back in. You just want it to bite. You don't want to put it in too far. And then line it up. We're going to line our wheel up to where it's even distance here. So we got about that much distance, same amount of distance on both sides of the wheel. I reach in there and hand tighten our set screw. Yep, moves freely. Now we're going to get in there. Get our set screw nice and snug. Once you get it hand tight, you want to go about a quarter turn. There we go. It's not going anywhere. Alright. That's it. Let's put this bad boy back in. Another thing before putting it in is we write on here motor replaced. Today's date, December 13, 25. Alright, again, motor facing up on this horizontal. This way we found it. This way we put it back. Let's go ahead and get it inside. I'm going to line it up on those rails back here. There's rails right there at the top and some at the bottom. Nothing's in the way. Get it lined back up. Okay. Got our 4 screws down here. Mounted. Let's go ahead and get our circuit board back in place. Now, get all our fan wires put back into position. Alright, got all those back in. Now we got our grounding wire, which is the green wire on the bottom. Putting it in G. Oh, careful with that. Alright. And clean all this back up. Place it in the given wire holder right here. At least what you can fit in there. We will zip tie the rest. far as our motor, that's it. All we gotta do is remount our ionizer. And re-zip tie up these wires where they were, close her up, and we're all done. Alright, we got everything wired back up the way it was when we found it. I did disconnect this UV light. We don't want to burn our eyes when we put our disconnect back in. Alright, we're going to go ahead and jump our fan out, see if it comes on. She's blowing like a champ. Well, folks, that's pretty much it. Changing out a blower motor on a Rheem